Before the morning. Nobody knew about this night. Not the disciples. Not the crowds. Not the scribes who recorded everything they could record and argued about everything they could argue about. This night belonged to two. It happened on a hillside above Galilee, 3 years before the cross, on an ordinary evening when Jesus had sent the disciples ahead and stayed behind alone, or what appeared to be alone, and climbed to the high place where the wind came through clean and the stars were close enough to feel like company, and the lights of the villages below looked small and distant, and the sky was very large. He had been expecting this. He had felt it coming for 3 days. The particular weight of a conversation that needs to happen. He sat on the rock at the top of the hill and waited. The light came slowly. Not the way it came at the baptism, the sky splitting, the voice like thunder, the dove descending in front of hundreds. That had been announcement. This was different. This was private. The light gathered at the edge of the rock the way dawn gathers, no hard edges, no performance, the way something arrives when it does not need to announce itself because the one it is coming for already knows. Then form. Not wings and fire. Not the terrible brightness of the old stories. Just presence, shaped into something that could be looked at without being destroyed by looking. The wind moved through the hillside below. The stars above Galilee were very bright. Jesus looked at the light. Father, Son. 2 words. Containing everything. For a moment neither spoke. They looked at the villages below, the last small lights, distant sounds of evening, cooking fires dying down, children already inside. You are tired, the father said. Not a question. Jesus looked at his hands. Yes, he said. Tell me you want to hear it. Tell me. Yesterday a woman pushed through a crowd of hundreds to touch the edge of my robe. 12 years she had been bleeding. She touched the cloth and she was healed. I felt it leave me, the power, like water poured out. He paused. I would give it 10,000 times. But after, when she told me everything, when I sent her in peace, I sat in the boat and could not speak for an hour. The father was still. There are so many of them, Jesus said. Not as complaint. As the statement of a man who has seen something so large it has changed the shape of everything. The sick. The hungry. The ones the world has put outside itself. I walk through a town and I feel every one of them, every fever, every grief, every person alone in the dark trying to hold themselves together. He pressed his hand flat against the rock. I feel all of it. That is the cost, the father said. I know. Jesus looked at him. I'm not asking to change it. I wanted to say it in this body. With these words. From inside here. I hear you, the father said. Every word. The night deepened. The last village lights went out. The wind dropped slightly. Above them the stars burned with the particular intensity they reach in the deepest part of night, not cold, but ancient, like light that has been traveling a long time to arrive. They don't understand what's coming, Jesus said. No. Peter still thinks I'm raising an army. Something in his voice between amusement and grief. He hears what he hopes for. He will understand later. Later. Jesus was quiet for a moment. They're arguing about who will be greatest. While I already know what it costs to be least. The Father received this, did not rush past it. And the Pharisees, Jesus said, they love God, but they love their picture of Him more. He looked out over the dark valley. That is its own kind of blindness. The saddest kind. The kind that comes from caring too much about the wrong thing. He said it gently. Without hatred. With something heavier than hatred. There are moments, Jesus said, when I am so empty I have to choose to believe that what I am doing matters. That it is reaching somewhere. He looked at the Father. I always choose it. But I want you to know that in this body, it is a choice. Every time. I know. I wanted to hear myself say it to you. I hear it. A silence. The comfortable kind. The kind between two people who do not need to fill it. Judas, Jesus said. The Father was still. I know what He's going to do. I've known for a while. He was quiet for a moment. The wind returned, moving through the grass on the slope below. He washed my feet last week. Careful. He didn't meet my eyes. A pause. I let him. I know. It will be soon. And after the road after. He pressed his hand hard against the rock. I have made peace with the dying. I want you to know that. It is the moment before. The full weight of all of it arriving at once. He looked at the Father. I am afraid of the cup. Silence. The deepest kind. I know, the Father said. Tell me it is worth it, Jesus said. Quietly. The request of a man who knows the answer and needs to hear it spoken aloud in the dark. Tell me the ones who will find their way because of this 1,000 years from now, sitting in darkness, hearing this story and feeling something shift in them, tell me they are real. The Father opened his hand. In his palm light. Not the light that had shaped his form on this hillside. Something else. Something that moved and breathed, and as Jesus watched it he understood he was seeing something that did not yet exist. People. Not faces deeper than faces. The irreplaceable fact of each one. A woman in a city that had not been built yet, reading words that had not been written yet, weeping in the specific way of someone who has found what they were looking for. A man on his knees for the first time in 40 years, saying the only word he had, help. A child sick in the night and a mother beside her, lips moving. An old man alone, holding a book he had picked up without knowing why, reading a sentence and going still. The light moved forward through time. Landing, in every dark room. Every reaching hand. Every help said at the edge of stopping. Jesus looked at them. All of them. Real. These, the Father said. One word. These are who you are walking toward. Jesus looked at the light for a long time. The wind moved through the hillside. The stars above Galilee burned. All of them, all who reach, the Father said. Everyone. Jesus was quiet. Then it is enough, he said. Yes. It is more than enough. The first bird sang somewhere below the hill. The darkness thinning at the edges, not light yet, but the first withdrawal of the deepest dark. The suggestion of morning that comes before morning, the world's first breath before it fully wakes. The Father's form was beginning to dissolve back into light. Wait, Jesus said. The dissolving slowed. I know what's coming. I know how it ends. I know the tomb is not the ending. He looked at his hands in the last of the light. I know all of it. Yes. But on this hillside, in this body, in this night he looked up. I'm glad you're here. The Father was still for a moment. I am always here. I know, Jesus said. But there is a difference between knowing and this. Yes, the Father said quietly. There is. The light dissolved. The hillside became ordinary again. Rock. Wind. The stars fading at the edges as the east began to pale. The smell of dew on the grass below. The first birds finding their voices one by one, each one waking the next, the sound building slowly from one into many. Jesus sat on the rock alone. He looked at his hands. The calluses. The faces in the light, all those reaching hands, all those dark rooms, all that weight of a future that did not yet exist but was already, in some way that mattered, already real. He sat there until the sun was fully up. Until he heard voices coming up the slope, the disciples, finding him, climbing with their conversations carrying ahead of them. Arguing about something small and human and completely beside the point and completely essential. He watched them come. And when they reached him and saw his face, John would spend years trying to describe what he saw in it, would write around it in letter after letter, would approach it from every angle and never quite land on it. What they saw was not rest exactly. Not peace exactly. Something that had become unmovable. The face of a man who has looked at the full cost of a thing and the full worth of a thing, at the same moment, in the same light. And chosen. With open eyes. With both hands.